What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Chatter After Daily. It's a later stream than usual, but it is November 1st, 2023. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot of Marvel stuff broke. We got to get into it. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike, of course. Joining me is Jamie, Didge, Joel, Trevon, and AJ decided to join us for this incredible Marvel conversation. I gotta set the stage on what happened, because usually we have 5 to 6 news stories that we cover, but today we just have one because Variety dropped a lot of information. Ironically, we're not going to Variety for this source of info, though. We're going to Leo over at Geekly Goods because he had an incredible Twitter thread just hitting us with the bullet points of everything. Make sure you go check out his video as well. He broke it down in 4 easy minutes. We're going to be here for like an hour. He'll save you a little bit of time if you just want to get the rundown there. First things first, how's everybody been? Chill vibes before the chaos ensues, because I see Trevon's smirk in the corner over there.
Trevon came ready to fight, so it's all right.
I almost hit his slander so I can combat it.
Not the slander.
All right. Well, one of the big stories that broke today was apparently Marvel, they had their yearly retreat where they go off into the mountains or wherever they're going to talk about the next plan, the next phase of their universe, the next steps they're going to take. And it's not been a great year for Marvel. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania came out to very negative reception and reviews. Guardians of the Galaxy was a major success, but they also realized that was made by now their competitor James Gunn over at DC Studios. So that's not the win they necessarily want it to be, because he's gone. And then you have the
win's a win, Mike.
A win's a win, but I'm just saying, that's what the article's framing it as, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they got the dub, but like they traded away their best player right after.
Yeah.
They got draft picks.
Did they?
I guess.
Shut up, please. Let us talk.
So
I was just asking.
I want to start with the Jonathan Majors bit. I don't want to get into the legal troubles of the actor, but one of the questions that was posed within Marvel apparently was, what do they do with Kang? They thought about recasting the role. They thought about moving away from Kang entirely, especially after the negative reception of Quantumania. And then they posed the question of, what if we just got Dr. Doom to be the big bad of Marvel going forward? I don't really understand the logic here. I feel like recasting is the simplest option, but I'm going to toss to you, AJ. What are your thoughts on that bit?
Before I even say anything about all this, I have one question. Did the article say that was a possibility, or is that the writer that's saying that could be a possibility? Like, was it the people within the Marvel retreat that's saying those things, or
allegedly? Again, we have
Marvel. There were no quotes. There were no
Okay.
Marvel refused to comment, but this is what the reporter is saying at Variety.
Okay, so
how did they know?
Yeah, that's my thing right there. But to talk about the Jonathan Major things, I don't really want to get too deep into that, because once again, we really don't know what's going on. It's still on trial, so I don't want to talk about too much about that. If he's innocent, he's innocent. Thank God he's innocent. But if he's not, then he definitely needs to be recasted. Kang definitely needs to be recasted. For me personally, but the whole Kang / Doom thing, I wouldn't put too much stock into that, because story wise it doesn't make sense. Like, skip over all of the Kang stuff that we just went through and just go straight to Doom. Yeah, I don't like that. And Mike earlier on the Discord was talking about how they couldn't really use the X-Men character, the Fox characters yet, because of contractual agreements and stuff like that was still going on till this day,
Right.
which was very surprising to me. I didn't know all that, but yeah. So with all of that going on and this latest rumor, something's not adding up to me, especially with the Kang slash Doom thing. Something's not adding up to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm kind of I agree with AJ. I think trying to switch from Kang to Doom would be very abrupt and jarring, and people already don't like having to, I guess, hop from like the movies or TV that people don't know which ones to watch, and so like jumping into something randomly, I don't think anybody would really be a fan of, even though like I was really looking forward to seeing Doom at some point and the Fantastic Four and like all that's incorporated. But
Mhm.
I think like one of the best things about Marvel is that they take their time and really plan things out. So unless they're not planning on releasing any movies in the next like 3 to 4 years, I really want to write a Doom story for this phase. They should stick with Kang, and if they need to recast or feel that they need to recast, then that's the decision that they make at the end of the day. Yeah.
I I agree that it'll be very weird for them to switch to Doom, because I would like Doom to be done properly and not shoehorned in. Along with the Fantastic Four, of course. But it's hard to recast Kang. We've seen his face multiple times, literally end of Quantumania, throughout Loki, different versions of him we've seen. It's just really difficult, I feel like, to do that now. Like, I feel like the only thing they could have done maybe in Loki, somehow like the timelines got all destroyed. It just somehow it just wiped everything out and just they start over. I just don't see how they could do it. It'd be very difficult to recast Kang now. He's too ingrained into what they have right now. They have to really convince me.
I
I
see.
think I disagree.
I see your point on that, Trayvon, but this is still technically a multiverse, and we've already seen other variants of other characters look differently. So I don't see why that would be an issue for Kang. Like, he could still technically have a different face. It just doesn't have to be like the characters that we've already seen within like Quantumania or Loki and stuff like that. It could be a totally new Kang.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, I hear y'all saying that, but it's like every version we've seen of Kang has been his same face. It's not like it's been a different person, a different look to him. It's been his face each time we've seen it, either in a statue or him or the Kang in Ant-Man Quantumania. Or if you've seen the post-credit scene with a lot of them, all of them were him. So it's like I don't know. It just be very difficult for me to do that. Maybe for the people that hasn't seen everything, maybe, but for the people that are loyal, Marvel watchers, it'll be hard for me to take that. That's just for me.
I feel like Captain brings up a good point in the chat where it's like, it just really depends on, do people really care about this actor playing this character, or do they just care about the character? Because if they just want the character to be present, anybody, granted they have to be a good actor, but anybody that wants to play that character can play that character.
I will.
I'm not villain.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a little different.
I'm not super married to the idea of Jonathan Majors being Kang. Like, I just like the idea of Kang in general, and I feel like Jonathan Majors has done a great job. But if they decide like he's no longer the man for the job, that's going to be unfortunate. But I'm not going to stop watching the movies or the shows because of it.
My thing is with that. My thing with that is though that people are bringing up Rhodey into this, but technically he's just a side character. He's not really that important to the MCU as a whole, like the main characters like Captain America, Steve Rogers, Iron Man, people like those. And
Bruce Banner?
Huh?
Said Bruce Banner.
I only count one of them, so for me that doesn't matter.
The one that matters. Even though the movie.
But Kang has been a very integral character within this arc of MCU. So that could still be an issue. Going with Trevon, that could still be an issue because he's still like a big component to the story of the multiverse of war.
Right.
But I do see what he's saying as well, that it's a character more important than the actor and stuff like that. But the things that I've been seeing on Twitter or just online in general is that people are talking a lot about Jonathan Majors as Kang, as a great actor for Kang himself, instead of like Kang himself being just a specific character. A lot of people are just bringing Jonathan Majors up within that character, so that could still be an issue because a lot of people are just saying, a lot of people are starting to think that Jonathan Majors is the perfect casting for Kang, much like how Robert Downey Jr. is a perfect casting for Iron Man, or so on like that.
To interject and play devil's advocate, I would argue that your what you're seeing is kind of catered to the people that you like and what you listen to and your algorithm. Like I feel like general public, like I think we talked about this last time we streamed on this channel, but kid you not, some people didn't know that the strike is still going. So I feel like if you don't even know that, you probably don't know who's playing who or really care, honestly. So as long as they're capturing that like more general audience, at least as Marvel stands right now, I don't know if they would really care.
I don't. For me, it seems like Jonathan Majors is getting big up there, though.
It's not like what cameos.
For the exception with all this
cameos,
drama.
like,
I would care more about them not recasting if I didn't see 3 different Peter Parkers in the same movie that look completely different.
Yeah.
Like,
I
think different. Like I understand what you're saying because I agree, but it's already established that you don't have to look the same. Your variants don't have to look the same.
Just
within
make
Loki, look at Sylvie.
Within exactly within the same universe he's in, and you can go. You can go young Kang if you want. Get a younger actor to do it. That solves that too.
Yeah, especially because they keep saying that the motive with Kang has always been, this one. You just wait till you see this one. Just wait till you see.
There is everywhere. Like,
just wait till you see the one that's like the most devious out of all of us. If you're gonna recast, there's your perfect way to do it. Where this has been whatever Prime King, whatever you're calling him, but he's the one who is the most devious. He's the one who is the true villain. There's your recast. I understand that he's one of the.
Gotta call him King Kang.
King Kang is wild.
I wish we had seen a different actor already play the character at same, but right now we've seen.
It probably would have been smarter if they did that. Like, if we got but I understood where they were riding hard on him, so I get it.
Yeah.
Viola Davis.
She's already beholden.
Not the
to
Viola
DC.
Davis.
DC's gonna be calling any day now. She doesn't have the time.
A jarring change, but okay.
Mike, you're muted.
I want to take a second and read an actual quote from one of the people who actually spoke in this article. Apparently, some anonymous producer said, quote, "Marvel is truly fucked with the whole Kang angle based off of the final episode of Loki." And that's the thing that we're talking and we're not aware of. We don't know what the Loki finale does to set up the future of King the Conqueror. Yeah. We have 2 episodes left at the time of this recording.
Well, he says that, but is he a part of that team or is he just like an outside source?
It's an unnamed
outside source who's seen
Loki.
but they've seen
he's
the
not
episode
even part of the team.
So like they still know what happened. Yeah.
I mean, if it's really that critical, maybe they just don't release.
I think we're too damn sensitive about recasting.
Honestly, I think we talked about the last episode that we saw of Loki, and it's like if it ended here, like crazy cliffhanger, but it could just end there.
It really could.
Captain
but
JJB84 in the comments did bring up a point. Hulk, War Machine, General Ross, Cassie Lang, and even Thanos himself were.
They're gonna do. General Ross is gonna be jarring too. We've seen Ross a lot.
I don't like throwing General Ross in there because they had to.
I understand, but it still happened.
It is.
They didn't have to do Rhodey.
It's still a new actor taking over, though.
Worst part is some of these people don't even look like the last.
Yeah, I don't know. Hulk. Like I said, I only count one of them. War Machine. I mean, that's fine. And that's fine. I'm gonna stay on that. And War Machine, that was very early on. It was
jarring. I don't care what you thought.
It was jarring.
It was, but I didn't like care that much.
It's funny because I don't think I remember. I'm just like, oh yeah, like he's
I didn't remember Rhodey, either until I rewatched the first Iron Man.
When did that movie come out?
That's crazy. That was jarring. I remember
2008. Oh yeah, no, I definitely was not paying attention.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point though of like General Ross was in that Hulk movie that Trevon doesn't want to count. All the way in 2008. He's been the longest tenured MCU actor besides Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel Jackson. So
not enough
recasting that role to me, but I feel like we've seen him more than we've seen Kang, so it's still gonna be really weird.
We've only seen General Ross in what, 2 movies, 3 movies?
We saw Black Widow. We saw him in Endgame, right? Civil
3
War.
Movies. We didn't see. Did we see? Oh, we did see him in Endgame.
And so Thanos was little cameos.
He had more appearances than you're giving him credit for, and that's gonna be weirder than Kang though, because Kang is gonna be weird. Still very.
And they're not gonna.
It's gonna be equally weird to me.
From what I can see, I'm like, that's even weirder.
Wait, he's not gonna.
And he's Harrison Ford.
From what I've seen, I don't see a mustache. I don't know.
Also, the Thanos thing that doesn't really count because he's just a CGI character. So nobody's really gonna notice unless they really pay attention to it. So
Thanos is different.
Next time,
and the Cassie thing, we got one scene. It's okay. We haven't even seen a new girl yet.
Cassie.
Right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, she was again. That was a very small bit part.
Yeah, we did.
I forgot. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was about to be like, did we not?
And that's exactly how I feel about Jonathan Majors. Like I remember him from Loki more than I do from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
I don't know. That post-credit scene is very much in my head. I can see it
now.
I
want to also say, say what you will
and
about
all the
Ant-Man.
statues.
He was not the reason that movie was bad.
No, he was great.
I do want to make sure. I do want to make sure I say that.
Jonathan Majors' crazy reputation and bad reputation aside, he's been great in everything he's done so far. Mm-hmm. Its talent is not the problem at the moment, and that's
for sure.
You know?
I want to move on to the next part of this report and leave the Kang thing because it's kind of ties into this. It feels like Marvel's panicking a little bit because there's also in this report that they plan on bringing back the original Avengers for another film. It doesn't make it clear if this is for Secret Wars, which very much could be. But if they want to make another movie with,
this is the interesting thing to
put that's the thing for me. I mean, they could easily. First of all, they had a discussion about doing it, and if they're gonna do it, it makes the most sense to do it during Secret Wars, where nothing's off limits. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
We already assumed everybody's gonna do it. Everybody's gonna come back. So.
That's what it feels like, right?
But that's my issue with this article just in general, because it's so based on conversations from an unnamed source. You at the end of the day, you do still have to.
Well, I mean, nobody's going to out themselves. We see this all the time.
Also true.
Like opinions, though. Like,
that's what I hate about every article that's unnamed source is because you can kind of say whatever and say, "Well, this is what my unnamed source told me."
Mm-hmm.
And it's
they're not gonna come out and debunk you because they don't want to out themselves,
right? So it's like it could be very half truthy because it's they're going to be in a future movie, but I'm not going to tell you that future movie is Secret Wars, where everyone already expected them to come back. So it's always tough for me with these type of articles to give it 100% true, because it's like how much of this is stuff that we know and we expect it versus how much of this is that you're just you got bits and pieces and you're trying to extrapolate a conclusion based off of that.
It's also putting little things in there that'll catch our attention and get us to talk about it.
Like, I'll give Variety the benefit of the doubt simply because they know that we expect them to be in Secret Wars. So I feel like they would just say Secret Wars. There's no reason to make that clickbaity, especially since that wasn't the headline of the article. It's not like the story broke. Marvel planning to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. It was buried inside of this article that was about other stuff. So I'd give them the benefit of the doubt there. Also, the person they talked to, they said it was just a conversation. It could have been a thought, you know? Joe, you're about to say
fair. I do believe it. I think this and Doom and all this extra shit it's going to come up during conversations if you're trying to plan something different or as an alternative as another option. Like this is going to be thrown. There's a lot of shit that's probably thrown at the wall that they're talking. Right. It's okay to talk about it. Doesn't mean it has to come true. They should be talking about it because you have to always have, everything should be discussed and put on the table just in case things don't work out. Mm-hmm. So if this is stuff that's just getting out, it's fine. We don't know what's going to stick at the end of the day, but the fact that they're just talking about, we should do this, maybe we should do that. Let's bring the OGs back. Like we all kind of figured they'd come back.
Yeah, those are the type of conversations that we would have as fans, regardless.
Yeah.
So for them to plan things out just like that makes sense. So yeah.
My only reason for really bringing it up though is kind of, I don't feel like we should have these conversations. And everything comes up. You're right when they're planning and talking about what to do. But I feel like if Marvel was confident in what they were doing, why would I bring Chris Evans back as Captain America when we already have Captain America? It feels like it's kind of undermining what they've been trying to set up since Endgame ended. And it's like, hey, this isn't as big a hit as we thought it would be. Let's go back to that well. Let's bring these characters back. Everybody loved Iron Man and Black Widow and Captain America. So that to me is the concerning part. The conversation, like if nothing ever comes of it, that's fine. But it also feels like it could be a little bit of a lack of faith, I guess. And
could I fight back a little bit on
that part? I do agree with you. Okay, so I will say quick. It's a very quick thing. I do agree with you on the fact that somebody's willing to even whoever this unnamed source is, the fact that they were willing to even bring it up in conversation when you work with them is concerning. My point was, I don't know how much of the conclusions that they drew were what the guy was sort of, or guy or girl, whoever it was sort of alluding to initially.
That's all. I will say that this conversation shouldn't have been brought up in any type of article or anything at all. Because I'm pretty sure this was just like like I was saying, just a conversation between two people trying to figure out what's happening and going on, but with the state of the MCU. But my thing is with what Mike was saying is that within the Endgame arc and where we are right now, there was one major thing that was going on, and that was the change of leadership, which had a huge impact within the MCU as a story as well. Yeah, Bob Iger and Bob Chapek. Bob Chapek totally shifted everything from who was in charge of Marvel and stuff like that, having his own people become executives and all of that type of drama was going on, and him just saying we need to rush things out, or not even saying rush things out, but having more and more content, more than we've had. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and it said in the article, that was one of the biggest problems as well, if I'm not wrong on that one. But
yeah, I'll jump in for a second. You can continue. So within the same article, they go on to say that the plan by Bob Chapek, like you were saying, AJ, was to have superhero content year round. So if a movie is in theaters, immediately after a show is going to start airing on Disney Plus, and so it'll be a year-long content cycle, which was
sounds great to me.
And it was hard for fans to keep up. But also that they didn't plan for it, which is part of the issue. Marvel couldn't properly develop that content model. Go ahead, you can keep talking.
And what even Trevon was saying, in theory, the plan sounds amazing for fans in general. But the whole like execution of it wasn't done greatly. It was just rush this, rush that, rush this. Here's She-Hulk. Here's Ant-Man. Here's shit. We're gonna bring out a whole new type of characters. Here's Ironheart, etc. They were just like, make this cameo, make that cameo, just whatever. They didn't have anything bad for usual consumers.
Right.
Like I said, it sounds good. It sounds cool on paper, but the execution wasn't great.
And in theory, sure. But when you look into the nuts and bolts of it, that means we're just constantly throwing something at you. That's that's what happens. When you get beyond it, it sounds terrible. Like
yes, but if they were all great shows and movies, we wouldn't have this conversation.
But their record has shown that they couldn't even do it with what they had.
So let's ask Joel, because I feel like Joel liked most of the Marvel shows and movies. So how do you feel about all the content and stuff that's been coming out? Are you tired of it? Or are you like, give me more?
I'm not the person to ask because I love this stuff.
That's the thing. I've also generally liked a lot of this stuff. Like generally, a lot of some of the stuff that you guys are like, oh, I just hate it. I've been with Joel. Like,
I like Quantum Mania.
I'm gonna take a step back there.
That's what I say.
A majority of the stuff, Joel and I are usually on similar pages. But when you start getting into going deeper and just thinking about 12 months of constant what we've gotten, they were just based off of the workload, you were gonna have more misses than hits. And that's where I think that it just sounds terrible.
And the other thing is, like, before Marvel really became like what we know it as today, like going to see a Marvel movie was an event. It's like, oh yeah, like our one Marvel drop, or like maybe our second Marvel drop of the year is coming out. We gotta make sure we go see that. Now that's just like happening all the time. You could argue that people are taking it for granted, or they don't like prioritize as much because like, oh, it'll always be here. Something else will come out. Like I don't need to catch up with this right now. So that's kind of where I'm at with all the Marvel content, where one, I'm tired. Like, I already have to consume like so much media just to talk with you guys on podcasts, or like, just for my own interest. So to have it be like constant year round and like that is just mentally exhausting. And also coming from like a filmmaking standpoint, like you can't possibly keep that up all of the time. Like people need breaks, people need to like refresh their minds and get new creative ideas. And even if they are bringing in several different crews so that way they can continue to produce content at a steady rate, like you're always going to have like a different flavor to every project. So it might not feel as cohesive as the other phases of Marvel has felt.
That's what you do. What Lucasfilm does. You have your own like story team to help that story flow much better. Or what Marvel is planning on doing right now with the lore Bible, whatever the fuck they're calling it nowadays. So
Go Bible. That's what what normal shows do.
Yeah. So for them to do that, it's a good idea. But like what Didge is saying,
crazy that they just started doing that. By the way,
I feel like a lot of the issues stem from Marvel just got bigger than what they can handle, in the sense that Kevin Feige always kind of ran it like an indie studio, right? Like he is the mastermind over all these things, and him and a brain trust and a couple of directors get together and map out what the universe is going to be. And that's cool if you're only doing 2-3 movies a year, but once you start doing like 6 projects a year, he can't keep track of all of that. So they should have
also
started operating
comics too.
That too. So they should have started operating like an actual big time, like Disney level studio, where it's like you have all these different producers, all these different creatives behind the scenes helping Kevin out, instead of it being the Kevin Feige show. Because it's just too much for them to take on. Like Didge was just saying, they didn't even. Like Didge was just saying, though, they didn't even have showrunners because Kevin Feige and the small group of people had to keep all the power. So by not having showrunners, The productions weren't running as smoothly as they wanted, to the point where an episode of She-Hulk cost $25 million, which is more than the finale of almost every season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. My fight back with that, though, is that whole thing wouldn't be an issue if it wasn't for Bob Chapek telling him to produce 700 new shows, 300 new movies, all in 1 year. And like,
they should have had the resources to make that happen, if anything.
Yes, but that'll cost more money than what Chapek would have wanted to begin with. So the way that they had it before was so much better as a end result for the universe of Marvel than what Chapek had to begin with. So his business model, to me, as like a producer or executive producer, it baffles my mind, like the thought process.
Yeah.
It gives me a headache, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Trevon, what you thinking? You've been quiet.
I just don't understand. y'all talking about in the comments a year break, like after Endgame ended, nothing else. I don't subscribe to that. I'm sorry. I can't agree with that.
So think of it this way. We've been talking about the DCU for like a full year now since James Gunn and Peter Safran took over. And has it been a year? But you can argue that Marvel needed a break too, because after Endgame, as a fans, we kind of needed that year off because we just watched 3 phases of, in my opinion, great storytelling, the best superhero arc ever put in movies. But it feels like they just needed an idea of where to go next, because it feels like they're just throwing a lot at you with shows like, let's take Shang-Chi, for example, right? I love Shang-Chi. Fantastic movie. When are we going to see him again? At what point in the story is it relevant for him to come back? It's like the
good question.
The MCU ballooned to a point where it's like, there's a lot of things I like, there's a lot of things I don't, but it takes too long to get back to some of these story threads. And that by itself is enough for somebody to not be interested. Because if you came out and you loved Shang-Chi, but it's going to take 5-6 years for you to ever see him again, what are we doing? You know?
I don't think that's what I mean by. I don't think that's a timeline issue, though. I think, like I said before, I think that was just a change in leadership issue. Like, I do feel like that Kevin Feige would have planned everything out if it wasn't for Bob Chapek saying we need to hurry up and build more content. So
right, but in this hypothetical situation, Chapek should have given Feige a year to rework his plan. Is all I'm saying. Regardless of who we're shifting blame to, they still needed that time to figure it out.
Also, Kevin Feige didn't have much of a leadership role within the MCU as he did with Bob Iger to begin with as well. So he didn't have much influence as much as he did before.
Right, he was closer with Feige. I mean, with Iger.
Yeah.
And then we had, don't get me wrong, there have been delays. Like we had COVID.
For sure.
Huge delay. And now we got the strikes, it's another delay. So shit's getting pushed back regardless. But the plans aren't changing. Until recently, we have just heard that they're going to change the way they do TV, which is fine. Like, not that I was having a big problem with it anyway, but I know a lot of people were. And so hopefully things do change, that it makes more sense now.
Also, with what Leo's saying, that it's not all Chapek, I agree with that. But he is the biggest issue within this MCU stuff. Yeah, sorry. It was my bad.
But I think Mike's point still stands, to even with the delays that were forced on us by COVID or the strikes, especially using Shang-Chi as an example. In this current arc, where does it make sense for him to come back in? So you're almost thinking, damn, I have to wait till the next arc, because they just kept throwing new stuff after new stuff after new stuff.
They added new threads.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, man.
And it's like, whether you like the thread or not, that last thread is still just there dangling. Yeah. And that's where the issue comes.
How many times has Trevon on this podcast been like, where's Tiamat? When are we going to answer that? You know, it's like,
Yep.
and
Still
that's
waiting
why
for
it's like
Blade.
when they were doing 2 to
Fuck's
3
going on?
projects at a time. Exactly. When they're doing 2 to 3 projects at a time, though, it was Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. Occasionally, you introduce a new story, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? But we're following these small groups of characters all the way through, where now we have so many, and to varying success, whether you like them or not. Was like, when is Moon Knight going to show back up? What was Werewolf by Night actually? What was that relevance to the MCU as a story? And so, I
think that's why it worked, though.
I have a question
for that one, for sure.
Yeah, fair.
I have a question for everybody. Do you think the TV series was a blessing or a curse?
Both
to the MCU.
Honestly, it's a cop-out answer, but it's true. It was a little of both, because you do get there are stories that probably wouldn't have fit on a screen that now you do get to see. But at the same time, now you already had limited resources, and now you're split even more. It's a reason why I guess they had TV or movie people working on TV shows, and they decided to just completely abandon the tried and true TV method. It's because they probably just couldn't get the resources.
I don't know. I guess it depends on what you liked or not, because I loved most of WandaVision. I really liked Falcon Winter Soldier. I liked Miss Marvel. I liked Hawkeye. I like Werewolf by Night. Yeah, that's all the ones I liked. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on what you feel about the shows or whatever, or the character that you liked. You know,
I feel like it's mostly been a curse, even though I have enjoyed multiple of the projects. But the only one where I feel like it really impacted me in a way where like I saw a character differently, or like even with all the pacing issues and whatnot, I look back on it fondly, like as a whole, would probably be Hawkeye. Shockingly, like I did not care about Hawkeye before the show, and after the show it made me a lot more sympathetic to him and his story.
It's a good show.
Getting
All
to
the
see, like,
disrespect Hawkeye got, I'm very happy for him.
So Hawkeye, I feel like Hawkeye needed something, so I'm glad that the show was able to like connect me with the character in that way.
It was good. It was.
I feel like with the shows, they all, like literally all of the shows that we've gotten could have been movies. That's my thing. Like Hawkeye could have been a movie, introducing Kate Bishop and Yelena. There's a lot of stuff that's going on within that show that you can just do within like 2-hour time span. Same with Moon Knight. Same with WandaVision. I guarantee you, everybody would have loved a Wanda movie more so than a TV series, and
that's fair.
They could have done it.
I don't know if a Hawkeye movie would have. I don't know if a Hawkeye movie would have done it.
I wouldn't have been.
What they did with WandaVision was so interesting. I feel like
I'm about to say, I thought that was very cool what they did with WandaVision.
Yeah,
it was so different that they made it worth it for me.
I'm not saying to change it up. All I'm saying is that the thing that they had within the show could have just been in the bigger screen.
Certain ones, especially.
Yeah, and I think especially when you think about like the pacing issues and like sometimes move incredibly slow, sometimes things just move way too fast. Maybe having it as a movie would have evened things out. That we'll never know.
Yeah, there was a show that somebody on Reddit like cut it down to like a movie size. I forgot which. I think it was Falcon and Winter Soldier. They did that, like they cut it up. That way it can like fit into a movie, and I've heard it's pretty good. I haven't watched it myself, but I heard a lot of people say it was really good.
Oh, I just remembered What If. We did also have What If. What If just disappointed me as the stories that they chose to tell, but conceptually I'm into it.
It was just they could have done cool. I wanted more out of that show.
I enjoyed certain episodes more than others.
I feel like making it canon made it like more restrictive than anything. If it wasn't canon, I feel like it would have been more.
It would have been way better.
They used a lot of canon characters and shit. Yeah.
My apologies.
We don't talk about What
If. So one of the things that stuck out to me in this piece though was about like the issues they had with these shows, right? With She-Hulk, of like. They shot She-Hulk, and then as they were getting closer to release and they were testing some of the episodes out, apparently Jennifer's origin wasn't told until like episode 5, so they had to be like, hey, we need to cut this part out, move it to episode 1 to make it make more sense for the viewer, which then forced the VFX team to have to expedite a scene from episode 6 and have it ready for episode 1. And those are the things of like, one, if you had a showrunner, they would
why it looked better.
Know how to make these episodes.
She looked bad a lot of the times. She did.
But that's also the issue of like Marvel, the way that they operate, they're always doing things last minute. Even though it feels like they have this master plan, they're rushing through it. So like even go all the way back to the first Avengers movie. They were filming scenes. Like that post-credit scene wasn't done until like the day before the premiere. Is it a stupid shawarma scene? Sure, but like that's still how tight Marvel's productions usually are, of working to the last possible second. And these are the things of when I say take a step back, it's not just make less stuff. I'm not saying Marvel needs to make less content. They need to allow the creators behind it, whether that be the writers, the VFX team, the directors, they need to allow them time to breathe and to make sure they get all of these right. Because like Jamie was saying before, it used to be an event when you would see these Marvel movies, because you get 2 a year, 3 a year max. And now it's always on, it's always happening. It's just like, okay, I'm not that invested. The people working on it don't even have time to make it as good as they used to. So that's the thing that kind of
go on to the next.
Yep. On to the next.
The She-Hulk finale was literally making fun of that, of like, hey, we got to go do Black Panther now. Bye.
And then
I feel like Kevin Feige put on there just to like spite Shapek. That's all I'm saying. I feel like
Mike doesn't want to say it. I'll say it. They should make less stuff, because all of the things that you said are going to continue to happen because they're still trying to make all of this damn stuff. Make less stuff.
They should not rush anything. So if it means that we get less stuff because it's not being rushed out, then yes, I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
But you can't do either. It's either going to push it for years, or it's going to be we have to make less stuff, and I don't want them to push stuff for years, so make less stuff.
We'll get better visual effects. You'll have less narrative issues. You'll have a lot of things you can fix if you don't have to throw it out the door, because we have to hit a deadline.
Yeah,
but that's also why it's like the 1 year break, as much as you may be opposed, like I don't think we need a year off. I think I would rather take a year off as opposed
for Marvel. I am for DC.
Yeah, a year isn't too bad. You can survive a year. It's
right. I'd very much rather take the year off though, as opposed to Blade getting delayed a million times, going through like a billion different writers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Wait, who's the writer this time?
The guy from Logan.
The Logan writer.
The Logan writer.
Michael Green.
Yeah. So
I want to say.
Something like that.
Correct. Michael Green. And apparently this movie is going to have a budget of $100 million. The streets are saying that budget is because they've decided to make it R-rated. We'll see if that's actually true. I think that'll definitely help out with Blade.
I do
apparently Mahershala Ali.
Damn it. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. I was just gonna add that apparently Mahershala Ali almost left the project because of his frustration.
I don't blame him.
I would have too.
Yeah, man, taking so long.
Right now, he's missing out on checks.
Right.
Kevin Feige said, "I'm getting the Logan writer and see if that'll work."
I mean, Logan was good, so
yeah, Logan was very good.
Logan was more than good.
Logan was great.
It was perfect.
Logan was a one watch, and that's it for me. Too much.
I often am.
Too much.
Often am.
I watch it at least once a year.
It was good. Don't get me wrong, I loved it, but I don't like it.
It's sad.
I was like, wait, what is Didge talking about? I see the chat and like, no.
Didge, they thought he was popping off there when he was saying make less stuff.
I mean, Didge pops off every once in a while, you know. But
often
once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon.
Not too much over there, AJ. This is your first episode back in a while. Let's take it easy.
Make it less stuff is blessed.
Oh boy.
But Trevon, it's like, would you rather have like a lot of shitty projects or like
okay, they're
We
not
don't even,
projects?
we don't even have.
Well, I'm not even.
We don't even have anything
Okay,
right
mediocre.
now. We got the Marvels coming up. When was the last
This
time
year
we had
was
something
the
for that?
Loki's
was a lot
airing
going
right
on.
now. You just don't
Yeah,
care.
I don't
Loki.
care. You're right.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
your
like,
But that's
problem.
different. It's still
That's different.
something.
Yeah,
give me a character I care about.
for people that care, it's all you.
That's how Shang-Chi fans feel, Trevon. You know this.
Like next year, we got 3 movies scheduled for now, but that's gonna change. Probably not gonna be like, who knows now? That'll probably
Echo
get
is supposed to still be a thing, I think, too.
I feel like there was the article where they were talking about that they're gonna like do like 2 shows, like 2 movies now.
2 shows is fine.
I would be cool with that.
2 is a little
That'd be
low. I do
fine.
at least 3.
I gotta look it up. I feel like I've read that somewhere.
2 shows.
That
2
feels
movies. They could run in between the movie. You go the whole year.
I'm gonna run a 3-2 offense going forward. That's what I'm gonna do.
I wouldn't mind that.
Correct.
Yeah,
2
3-2
shows,
Spread
3
it out.
shows, 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2 live action, 1 animated.
Give it some time to breathe.
something.
2 live action, 2 interesting.
They were gonna do 1
No,
a quarter.
2 live action,
Under
1
the
animated.
shows, 4
Right.
movies, 4
2
shows.
movies.
That was the plan, I think, at one point, and that's a
Goodness.
lot.
That's a lot.
It
I
was.
feel like we've been having a lot of breathing room right now this year.
Oh, we are, but unfortunately, it couldn't work for a lot of that. The
Yeah, I
most
was gonna
recent
say,
one.
it's been forced. If they had their way,
I
we
mean,
would not.
It's interesting because, like,
For
yeah, we've
sure.
had a lot of breathing room, but at the same time, they also have like Star Wars projects and stuff coming out in between. So, at
That's
least
just you
in
being a
my-
nerd at that point, though. That's not Marvel's
yeah,
fault.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, in my mind, it's like we just have a constant stream of content. So that's why 2
Yeah.
shows, 2 movies, I'm cool with on the Marvel side because I know Star Wars is going to come out with some stuff. So my whole year will be.
Yeah, man, a Star Wars movie in 50 years. You know, wait another 50. for
They
Star Wars
took a
such
break,
movie.
exactly.
Yeah,
They
they
needed it.
needed it.
So
They needed
yeah,
it.
sometimes you need
Guess
it.
who else needs it?
Marvel
No,
don't need it.
absolutely
Stop
not.
Guess who
Marvel
else
does not
needs
need a movie break.
No,
I don't know,
absolutely not.
man. Quantum Mania was worse than the Rise
That
of
was what
Skywalker.
movie? You just said
It
Guardians.
was not that bad. Come on, not for them need a break
Guardians
for
was
2
cool.
years.
Guardians was
Okay, I got the quote.
We didn't say
Hold
2
on.
years. I didn't say 2 years. I didn't know that's what Mike was saying.
Who said 2 years?
I never said
Oh,
2
yeah.
years. I said they needed a year
Like
off.
years
not
too much
not
too.
counting the COVID year though. That's not the year off.
Man, that hurt.
Yeah,
That was
that's
a
right.
long. That was a long wait.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump in the chat right quick because they've been leaving some great comments. One, Cliff said the trauma from the DCEU came back. I don't think we're there yet. That's the thing. As fan, like, I'm not saying
I
Marvel's
enjoyed the
dead.
DCU.
Ooh,
I enjoyed moments of it.
ooh.
You know,
Ooh,
I stand on that too.
That
Well,
might
moments is fair. Moments is
be-
fair.
yeah,
I-
it didn't
the
have.
most
It wasn't
negative
all bad.
comment
People like to
Joel has ever
exaggerate.
said on this show, though.
It's not
I
negative.
did. I had fun with it.
Ooh.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Majority of it, I was just like,
Oh please.
You weren't. You watched them. Cut it out.
a lot less than you
I
think.
honestly, sometimes y'all be talking about like Batman v Superman or like the Superman movie, which I know y'all do enjoy, but I like what happened. I don't remember honestly. I don't remember.
I don't know. You all crazy.
Who
Man,
is
feelings.
y'all?
What do you mean? Who is? I thought Mike said he liked Superman.
I
Oh,
like
Superman.
Superman the character, not Man.
Man of Steel was okay.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man of Steel
Batman
was
versus-
great. I will
Man of Steel was
fight
okay.
anybody on that one. Man of
See?
Steel.
Batman
was-
vs Superman was trash.
Y'all was
Man of
coming
Steel
out.
is the
Trash-
best
trash
DC
is
movie.
That's the reason that we have so many of those crazy people nowadays. Y'all calling that shit trash. It was not trash.
It was not.
It was
Yeah,
not
it
trash.
wasn't trash, but I also don't remember.
In my opinion, it was trash.
like
You're
it,
part of the
like I guess
politics.
lighting a
Now we have
fire
whole
in
bunch
me.
of
I guess like,
toxic
I don't feel as
assholes.
passionate about it. And y'all know, like I like as far as source material goes, I like DC better than Marvel, but it just did not connect with me like Marvel's stories
And
have.
that's sad. See, that's why DC has to do
that's
better.
the
Because if
problem.
you
They
are
do.
a fan of DC
They do.
more so than Marvel, then they have to do better. Because obviously they should be attracting you, especially as a fan.
Yeah.
Do better, DC. Hopefully that's where they're headed.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I really loved the Batman.
That's what-
I convinced
I did too. I
several
love
people
the
to watch
fucking
that wasn't a
Batman.
DCEU film though.
it
That
wasn't.
It wasn't.
great.
But
It's not even a
I
DCU
considered
film.
a step in the
It's
right
It's
direction.
its own thing.
I consider it a step in the right direction. It was a project from DC
It's
that I
Elseworlds.
enjoyed.
Yeah,
that was
but
good.
Marvel
After
does.
that, they gave us stuff like Shazam 2 and The Flash.
Shazam 2 was not bad.
I had no hope. for
Shazam 2 was terrible.
It was
I had
not
no hope for
bad.
this.
Stop it.
this.
Isaac's right. He actually remembers. The only one that's worth watching is Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder was also good. Yeah.
There you go.
I have a quote where Bob Iger was talking about that Disney will cut back a flood of Marvel movies and series.
Let's go.
They
He's still trash for the strikes, but still, let's go. Speaking
what does that mean?
Frankly, it diluted focus and attention. Bob Iger wants Disney to make less Marvel content. Disney is planned to cut down on Marvel movies and TV releases as the company looks to reduce costs and avoid superhero fatigue.
So it's not like he sees the vision. It's just like we don't have our wallet's not as big as anymore.
And they know.
I mean, that is an important part of the process. So
yeah, I don't know. I heard money was talking, and they said we can't do all this.
Oh, he just said.
I mean, if you was losing money too, you would do the same thing.
Yeah, I would. But my point is, like, I don't think he's doing this because he understands, like, oh, like, we're just like putting out a lot of stuff that's not up to the quality that people like think that it should be. So we should like slow down. He's just like, yeah, I don't want to put more money in this because
I think those two can coexist though. You can still focus on the money while wanting to create good content.
It can. I just don't think Iger's on those 2 points.
That's why he has creative people to do that for him.
Yeah.
So this is another quote that was in the Variety article that kind of speaks to this. So in 2019, right, Marvel is known as the biggest franchise in the world. It's the biggest movie franchise in history at this point. It was to the point where if you saw Marvel Studios in front of a trailer, you instantly thought, I have to see this movie, regardless of what the movie was. But the quote is also saying that, awesome, love to see it.
Trevon is so disgusted with all of us, y'all. I don't think y'all understand his disgust level with
everybody
us
wants
right now.
we understand superhero content, but we just want it to be. We want the quality to keep going up.
I hate this narrative.
I feel like even if you don't see it as like things have gotten worse, I feel like you could argue things have gotten stagnant. And stagnant is still, that's maybe even worse than getting like going down. Because then
the more we halt it, the longer it takes.
As a fan of the content we are getting, and not as much as a critic as everybody else, I'm more worried about other people enjoying it more so than myself, because I will most likely enjoy what I'm watching. I'm worried that other people need to enjoy what they're watching. You know what I mean?
I'm patient enough. I got the comics. I'm fine.
I mean, I'm always gonna have.
I don't like reading. I like to watch
before and after, so it's not really a big deal.
We'll get you
but I like seeing my shit come to life. So it'll never come to life if it gets
fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's how I feel with everything, not just.
I'm still disgusted with Thor: Love and Thunder. Don't get me started. That is the worst Marvel movie of all time.
Well, worst is excessive, but yes, it was a step down.
Sorry, not the worst. The most disrespectful Marvel movie of all time. There we go. No, disrespectful.
Not even then. I had enough moments for me to enjoy it, but it was also like, what the fuck?
I like
the
Jane.
Man butchered one god.
She was good.
He did, but it had a few moments in that movie that was enjoyable.
It did. It had good moments.
We saw the aftermath of the second one.
There's a point. There's a reason I don't know if Taika will be back to do Thor 5.
He would not. They already said he would not.
I don't want him to come back.
I don't think
he had too much. He just had too much freedom.
I love him, but he needs to get out of Marvel.
I love Taika too, but yeah, thank you.
I don't know if he I would welcome him back at some point, but right now I just don't think he's right for Thor.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Cocky right now, Marvel. He needs to calm it down.
Interesting take here from Arkwinder. Considering every Disney movie aside from Guardians 3 was a bomb, I see why they want to cut back.
This year?
Let's see.
There's only been 2 movies this year.
Hold on. Let's go to box office.
Wait, Marvel or Disney?
What is a bomb?
If I said Marvel, that's my bad. The comment says Disney.
He said Disney.
Indiana Jones was a bomb. It very much lost a lot of money.
I forgot
that you never did it.
I'm looking forward to December 1st. It comes on.
Is it on Disney Plus? Okay, yeah, there we go. I'll watch it on Disney Plus.
Me too. I wanted to see it in theaters, but no one wanted to go.
I know. Like, even my mom, she introduced me to Indiana Jones. She's like, I don't want to go see that. I'm like,
Jamie, I don't think you were here yet. I would have went with you, Jamie.
Damn. Next time.
It's too bad.
That
so Indiana
this also
Jones
gets
made
into the.
200.
You got to look at the budgets of these things too. That's the
That's
budgets.
why I'm.
Not
That's why I'm
too much
looking
on the
up.
Marvels now. No.
We're talking about Disney movies.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Elementals
Yeah.
count. I don't know how much money that made.
Elemental counts. It actually stayed in theaters so long, it may have actually made its budget.
Made
back.
money?
But I don't know.
I just finally watched it the other day. It's pretty good.
I need to
It's
watch
a great
it.
movie. It's fantastic.
But
But
So
yeah,
go on.
go ahead, AJ.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah,
that made
now
money, though.
Destiny bombed real bad. It was a $300 million budget, and it only made
Oh, I feel bad
383.
for Harrison.
Tragic.
That was
All right, so how
scary.
about Little Mermaid? Little Mermaid, did it make money?
I feel like that made money. I'll look it up. You
Little
can look it up.
Mermaid.
I remember
I-
it did.
I was doing the box office reports for Little
It
Mermaid,
made-
and go ahead.
It made 569 versus a 300 budget.
Then it made money. What else are we talking about here?
Barely though, because you remember you got to double the budget.
No, that's they're saying all in.
Okay.
All in was 5 something. All right. Then you
Yeah,
No,
got
all in was the
569.
three. All in was the three something.
That's
It
a
didn't
lot.
make as much.
Yeah,
as
so
it made money.
It didn't make the profit they wanted it, but it didn't. It wasn't a
They
bomb.
didn't lose money.
Same
Right.
right. Haunted Mansion also a bomb.
Oh, I forgot about
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion. That's a bomb. Yeah. That was
So-
That came out in theaters?
yeah.
I feel like that was
It
It's
came
on Disney
out-
Plus
it
now.
came out in
Oh,
theaters.
what?
AJ.
Oh.
That's
in
how.
the summer, right?
I
how
completely
disappointing it
forgot
was.
about that. Okay.
I did too, bro. I forgot. It's not. You know what? I was looking at my list. I didn't go to that. Like so.
Cliff in the
Ant-Man
comments
obviously lost
said,
money.
"Who would have thought would be stressed over DC and Marvel movies?"
that's what
that,
yeah.
Trevon's
that was my
reply.
response. That was my response.
I've been stressed
Yeah, I
over
know.
it since DCEU. That thing
Yeah,
gave me gray hair.
all it's been has been stress since BBS, and I enjoyed
Mhm.
that movie, but it's been stress ever since.
I think that's
Nonstop.
the funny thing between like the Marvel fans and the DC fans. Us saying take a year off is to save the Marvel brand, essentially. Like, we don't want you to get that far gone to where you end up like the DCU. Right? Like, if we can do a preventative measure of like, yeah, if you need to take a year, take a few months, delay a project, do that, because the idea of bringing the OG Avengers back feels very much like bringing Joss Whedon in to direct Justice League.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
It's that reactionary of like, are we sure we want to do that?
I don't mind it as a Secret Wars thing, but it seems counterproductive narratively.
I don't even want that as a Secret War thing. I feel like that's just
You know
like,
that
low
something's gonna happen. I
imagination.
mean,
Like we've already done it.
not even it doesn't even have to be them as their old selves. It could be variants. You know what I mean? It should be fun to see them again. Not saying they will or won't. I'm just saying nothing's off the table, especially if fucking the old X-Men are gonna show up. That's crazy. That's
So-
crazy.
Speaking of the old X-Men, rumors from the scoopers, take that with a grain of salt because I don't trust them.
Scoopers.
They're
Some of
saying
them
that
more than others.
Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman are apparently the leads of the next Avengers movie, which I think
That
is...
sounds.
Sounds like a stretch.
That sounds
Yeah.
wild.
What?
The leads is a little much. I don't know if I believe that, but
What?
right. What are they doing?
main characters, I can see that, but leads,
No,
I don't even
main
know
as
main
well.
characters.
main, I can see based on where I
No.
think they're going. I can see them being
I cannot
big
see
parts
Like
of the movie.
cameo, sure.
Wait, who's the lead?
Cameo, no, it's gonna be more than cameo. I can tell you that
Oh,
now. I don't know about Toby.
Tobey Maguire
But
and Hugh Jackman.
It looks like Hugh Jackman at least will probably at least get one more big role
Toby?
after.
I would love
Toby's the
to
OG
see
buddy.
you again. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you'll see him in Deadpool, and that's good enough.
Yeah,
It's
I
almost
was
like
honestly
Deadpool.
gonna be fine with it.
That's gonna go into Secret Wars. You know that, bro.
It for sure is.
I hope not.
Or
I
King
see.
Dynasty, or both. Who knows?
Your
I don't know how
hopes will
King
not be
Dynasty-
answered because it's for sure going to be.
It's all gonna end there. We're gonna get Peter. Well, Tom's Peter as with the symbiote suit. It's gonna be a lot of crazy shit going on. Watch.
Oh yeah.
That's how I was in the comics. He got them during Secret Wars, so it's totally fitting. He gets it in Secret Wars.
Mm.
Is it the same crap that Tom Hardy left in the last movie? Because I don't.
I
want
hope
that.
so. Because
That
that's wild.
version
Yeah.
of-
Why bother?
Yes.
Hey, those movies suck, but they're also very fun.
They can't even say symbiote right.
What they say?
How'd they say it? I don't remember.
They say symbiote.
Yeah.
Do they?
The entire first movie, they say symbiote, and I didn't even watch the second one because I'm like, I can't.
What? I gotta go Google this.
Second one was.
Wait, this was on Venom?
Yeah, Venom one.
Only thing I think of when we talk about Venom is the Eminem song where it's like Venom.
I hate that song. I hate that song.
I was just listening to that today.
Not too much.
Yeah.
Best part of the
good song. You gotta start hating.
I do not like that song at all.
I just think it's funny.
It's just hates Eminem. It feels like.
No, his first like 3 albums were great. Then they're okay after they start going downhill
Nicki
after
quite
that.
a few times, so I love him.
There you go. One vote Eminem.
Iconic quote, like a turd in the wind. That's
I love his voice as Venom in the movies.
Hey, but you remember the quote though?
Oh, I didn't realize that was a Venom quote. I just thought that was disgusting.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting because it's a Venom quote. There you go. Movies are terrible. I don't know. I feel like at the end of this conversation, though, they're terrible. But we have the Marvels coming up. We have the Marvels coming up. We have Loki. Loki's been pretty good so far. I don't know where all this is going to go. I am concerned that the Marvels is tracking for $75 to $85 million. That's not great.
So let me ask you, what says that this is tracking for this amount of money? Is it the pre-orders for the tickets? Because even then, it's I feel like you should think that's pretty good for pre-orders because then there are just going to be people that show up for theaters, right?
So box office tracking is it's tracking word of mouth, the pre-orders from all the movie theaters. It's just a rough estimate of what the studios and the theater chains are expecting the turnout to be. So for a movie like this with a budget this size and it being a Marvel property, it should be closer to $150 million. So it's coming in on a really low end.
It's like 75, 80 or something like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 75 to 85.
I've never pre-ordered a movie ticket.
Damn. Oh, I do it all the time.
Oh yeah, I do it all the time as well.
How do you get in opening night if you don't pre-order?
Oh yes, but because
it's never hard. I just walk in, buy the ticket, go in. I usually don't go opening night. I'll go opening weekend.
See, that's the thing. I go opening night, and I usually go with a lot of people. You can't just go walk in opening night and expect to buy tickets.
I've never had that issue. But I also
I know. Didge is there's nobody at his theater, so it's usually you can just walk in. But
I'm surprised.
That's crazy to me too, because we go to the same theaters.
That's why I'm surprised Mike is asking this question. I've never had this issue. I always go opening night, and I'm just like, all right, well, 5 o'clock.
What time are you going in, man? Are you going at midnight showing or something?
No, I go at the 5 or 6. Yeah, I sit at the. I always sit in this. What is it? H. So whatever number that is in the alphabet.
In the middle or the end?
Whatever number that is.
I know what you mean. That's kind of where I go.
It's
whatever number that is.
I like DE.
Okay. I usually go I usually go around H row.
H is in the middle.
Yeah, I guess a little farther up. The middle in the middle, yeah. But
I like to be in the middle. Yeah.
I like to be as close to I like D 10 or less around that area.
Yeah.
I never have an issue. I don't know. I go to our movie tavern.
Fucking tavern.
That's what they call it.
They have beer there too?
Oh, I don't know. I don't order beer there.
Tavern, they better have beer.
I'm sure they do. But
I just near our movie theater is a draft house. Never order beer there.
That's a different type of theater. I don't have that many movies there.
Yeah. I was shocked when I found that out.
Yeah, I was disappointed. It's
limited.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like our movie tavern because I saw it when we were in Austin. We were in Austin, and I was like, "Oh, this doesn't have everything."
The Alamo Draft House.
Yeah.
I would. Only time I ever went to a theater that had beer was in Kansas City. It was the first time ever. I'm like, "Oh shit, they sell beer here. This shit's gonna get wild." I saw Suicide Squad, the first one.
What movie taverns are y'all going to? Jeez.
We only have one movie tavern here, Mike. You know which movie tavern I go to.
I mean, Cliff doesn't live here, so it's still a question.
No, I don't know what he's
Cliff
doing.
agrees, though. Cliff agrees. Cliff, where you at?
I need my middle seat, so that's why.
What part of Pennsylvania? Western Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania?
We are not trying to dox Cliff on live stream. We'll ask.
I'm trying to get his address. Hold on, what's your
what's your social security number?
What's your PO box?
Before we go, because we're kind of done with the Marvel stuff, I want to talk about this thing with Nicolas Cage. Apparently, he had no idea what was happening with his Flash cameo, and he's very mad about that.
Gotta love
it. Oh, he was mad? I didn't get mad out of that quote.
In the full article, he said he did not like it, and he was upset.
Oh, fair. I just read the quote in the tweet that was shared.
I love that scene, actually. But
yeah, whatever. So for those who don't know, in the Flash, we see multiverse portals. He said he went in to get de-aged. He's playing Superman.
What the fuck Good Lord. Do you think?
he went in,
goes to get plastic surgery, finds out you're in a movie. He's like, what?
Hilarious.
He knew what he was doing. That's what bothers me.
He wore the suit, right?
No. I don't know.
That's the thing. He went in and he's like, and apparently they told him to do the de-aging thing, and he's like, cool, I don't mind cameoing in the movie. But he's like, I'm fighting a giant spider, and like I didn't film any of that. They digitally.
Is he upset because he didn't get to fight the spider?
All that stuff. He's upset because that's not what he went in there for. Apparently, like I guess he would have rather filmed the scene with his consent.
If that's why he's upset, then I get it. Because that whole thing shouldn't have been CGI anyway.
Yeah, like it could have been better if they just told him.
That's also why it looks kind of weird.
It does. The whole thing's like that. Yeah, it's weird. But I did like the scene overall because I'm like, I never
it was cool.
This shit. It was cool.
I was like, oh wow, heard about this, but
cool scene, but trash CGI.
So I'm going to read the quote so you guys know what he's actually saying.
Very shoddy.
It was CGI so that they can de-age me, and I'm fighting a spider. I didn't do any of that, so I don't know what happened there. He said he went to the movie, he saw the scene, he's like, that's not what I filmed, and he wasn't happy about it. He then said.
Mine was just him standing there. Maybe he just filmed himself standing there.
What did you expect, bro?
What did they tell you then? Why did you think you were getting de-aged?
Yeah, for real. I don't get it.
I assume he knew he was in the movie.
Is he probably?
They probably told you you're gonna be Superman. You're gonna cameo as Superman. I'm like, okay, cool. And then he gets there and he's fighting the whole premise of that stupid joke. That's why. Maybe because he didn't like the idea that it was a joke. I don't know. Not a joke, because that's exactly what what's his name was.
I literally went to
Peters.
Shoot a scene for like an hour, looking at the destruction of the universe, trying to convey the feelings of loss and sadness and terror in my eyes. That's all I did. So like he apparently
they gave that scene to Christopher Reeve Superman.
It felt like the spider was destroying the universe. So, he was
in the middle of a fight with a spider.
Yeah, his face in despair and all of that fit.
He does look into the void right after the fact or whatever. I forget.
Yeah.
I guess. I just think
I didn't want to fight the spider. I just wanted to look into space. I'm like, that was for.
It is an interesting tidbit, Mike. You're not wrong. I don't know what else he could have. Right. I guess I don't know what else he could have thought that he was doing for an hour.
You can't tell me you're having Nick Cage Superman first time ever and not have the giant spider.
He needed to fight the spider, but I guess the point is
people that don't know,
had him on set doing the spider fight.
You guys know the story about the giant spider? Most of you know, right?
No, yeah, I saw the death of Superman
it's
thing.
The funniest. Watch the video of Kevin Smith telling that story. Time. You want me to tell the story? Holy shit! No, it's just all right.
Why did that sound so threatening? We got this. You want to talk about it? Tell us.
It's just funnier.
Jamie needs to learn. This is DC lore right here.
You do need to learn, Jamie.
Back in the 90s, they were Nick Cage was supposed to be Superman. Mm-hmm. After they did the Batman movies, they were gonna have him do Superman. I think it was called Superman Lives, right? I think it was called.
Yeah.
So that was the plan, and so they had Kevin Smith come in, write a script for the movie. And at the time, the Batman producer, John Peters, who had a specific vision for Superman, which didn't involve a cape or really a costume at all.
He didn't want him to fly.
He didn't want.
That was the weirdest thing.
Like,
get him out.
You wanted Superboy?
Sounds like a new 52 to me.
Right? Oh shit! But yeah, he wanted so many things. Like, I'm narrowing it down because we'll be here all day. But he basically came down to but he also really wanted him to fit in a giant spider for him to fight at the end. Because he says they're like great predators or some extra weird shit like that. He's a visionary. He sat on the couch and he had a box. He's like this, and he's like, "All right, go ahead." He's got to explain to him, and he wrote scripts for the movie that he had to pigeonhole weird shit like polar bears and giant spider, and he's trying to add lore to it. He's like, you can't just call. He didn't want to call it a spider, so he called it like a Thanagarian snare beast or whatever, just to get it past it, because it's just weird for him. For Kevin Smith writing the script, it was just weird. Why do you want a giant spider? It doesn't make any sense. But what happened was things with Kevin didn't work out. They didn't use his script. So the way it goes is that at the end of it, a couple years later, he said he goes to the movie to go see the Wild Wild West, produced by John Peters, and guess what the monster at the end is a giant mechanical spider. That's how he got his damn giant spider.
So the best part of all of that is that he initially denied it. He initially was like, I never thought that. And then he did. But look how cool it'll be. Just think how cool that would have been. You can't lie. And then go, but let me tell you how great that would have been.
Yo, that's the best punchline to find out. It's the Wild Wild. Because if you watch the Wild Wild West, that's how it ends. You saw the Wild Wild West? Damn it.
Long time ago.
You did, Trevon?
Long time ago.
Is that the Will Smith one?
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw the beginning, and then it was on TV, and my dad was like, "Oh yeah, this movie's bad." I'm like, "Oh really?" And then I walked away.
It was bad. It was not.
It had a great theme. It had a great
also had some great moments.
I mean, it had a good theme song.
Sure,
it did. It had a great theme song.
Had a song. Yeah.
What? Wild Wild West.
The Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will Smith and Cisco were great.
Yeah, that was a good song. That was a good song. Giant spider. That's all. At the end of the day, there was a giant spider in that movie. So that's what the end of it was. Mm-hmm. It's way funnier.
You should watch the documentary.
Oh my! Oh yes, that's a great documentary, by the way.
Here's the giant mechanical spider from Wild West.
Oh,
now imagine if Superman fight this though. Can't you see the vision?
Sure.
A Superman that doesn't fly, by the way.
Oh, I
so
thought like this guy.
He's just running up and just.
That's literally Superboy.
No costume.
Yes.
No costume either. I forgot about that.
Superboy. He just wears a t-shirt.
Exactly. You're not wrong.
John Peters, it was before his time.
That sounds trash.
Well, what's the cinema?
I'm with you, Trevon. It does sound trash.
We need to start
next.
Changing how we use the word cinema, because y'all just using it too loosely. It has no meaning anymore. We call it Wild Wild West cinema.
But you felt, never mind.
Oh, wait, Trevon, I was about to say something snippy. Go ahead, finish it. Go ahead and finish it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So that was cinema, but he had no. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Stop.
You see the comments about the DCU? You know what he said up there? I was like, it's interesting how that's cinema. You hated DCU, the traumatized. Okay.
Cliff? Oh, you coming at Cliff? Oh, you're funnier.
Not too much on Cliff.
Cinema.
They hit Cliff at a young age. He got, he was like, I still love the Wild Wild West. But how'd you feel about the spider, Cliff? I'm curious.
Nice. Oh man, it's a
racist caricature aside.
He said Trevon going for my neck.
Watch Nick, Cliff.
Comment triggered me.
Clearly,
brought me trauma.
Look how happy he is in his profile picture. I picture him that happy saying all of his comments.
He's so happy. Gotta love it. Guys, if you enjoyed this, give us a like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing here on the channel. If you're listening in the podcast feed, give us a review, unless it's a hateful review. I don't need you Marvel fanboys leaving bad reviews, so stay away.
That's just gonna be Trevon.
I know.
Just know who defended it. I defended it. Just know that.
History will go down that Trevon was the only one among
Everybody else wanted
DC.
DC.
I
love DC.
Coming up on the channel. Coming up, Netflix Geeked Week next week. We also got the Loki review down the pipeline. We're also going to be reviewing the Marvels. There's a lot to talk about. I can't wait for this Avatar: The Last Airbender trailer.
Let's go.
It's gonna be exciting.
Wait, when is
Can't wait to talk about it.
Next week.
Next week between
we
waited 5 years, but all right, that next week is too long.
Hey, kick AJ out.
Sorry, AJ. Got a couple more hours.
If you guys want to hear us talk about anime, check out the Amateur Otaku Podcast. We're talking anime every single Thursday. Tomorrow, we should be talking about what the heck is an isekai, because I don't know. AJ legitimately left. I'm just gonna add him back. But he
sounds tasty.
I love all the anime.
Hell, I thought Trevon is disgusting.
Ain't tired of that, right?
No, we ain't tired of anime. I'm about to go watch it after this.
So yeah, I got some episodes to watch.
Interesting. Y'all just want more time to watch that.
Hey, you're not
wrong. I mean, there's a lot of anime, but
I got a lot of anime to catch up on.
It's a saga.
There's a shit ton of anime to catch up.
Y'all